All right. What up? What's going on, Sean? How are you?
Much, man. Doing good.
A little bit longer of an intro, but that is all right. We are here.
Yeah.
All right. How you guys doing out there? If anybody that checks in, what's going on? We didn't do an episode yesterday, but we're doing one today. Before the Thursday night games or game rather. So
Mhm.
before my Eagles play and go to put a whooping on the Giants as they should, and nothing less can be accepted. We're going to get in a little conversation. Some about the Eagles, some about referees, some about one Mark Sanchez, and other events that happened over last week before we get into the new week. Anyway, so let's get into it. Sean, where do you want to start?
Um. Honestly, man, let's start with the Bills, man. Let's start with Josh Allen and the Bills versus the Patriots.
All right.
Let's start there.
Walk me through it, sir. Walk me through it. What is it?
Oh, this gonna be a quick walk. They lost, Mark. They lost. They lost a game that they shouldn't have lost. And if you start going back through the film, you could say you could say that Josh Allen had a hand in them losing. Now, I know that might be new to some people. That's not new to us. We talk about it all the time on this show. Um, the issue the issue I have is this is not the first time I've seen Josh Allen not see somebody wide open or see Josh Allen throw into double coverage when somebody was open
Mm-hmm.
or force the ball to somebody instead of taking the short yardage that would have extended the drive for a first down so
Right.
that you continue to have a chance to win a game. And um and and I guess for me, Mark, I just find it I find it interesting that other people, other platforms, they do not these things don't get spoken about. Now it's now Thursday, Mark. I have not seen anybody speak about this, okay?
Right.
And if there's one thing that we're going to do on this show is what we're going to do is we're to be that voice when there should be a voice. Okay, so that
Absolutely.
means if nobody else is talking about it and it seems important, then we're going to talk about it. And right now, I wanted to talk about that. I want to talk about how the Bills should be running away with this division. The Pats actually are playing better than people may have expected. Drake May has looked better than what people have expected. Um, and to, and I don't think this is hyperbole when I say this game matters in the
Well, yeah.
grand scheme of things. When you talk about the Bills trying to be on a path to get a bye week in the playoffs, or the Bills trying to secure some semblance of home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and you have a situation now where the Patriots are in a better position to win the division. Mark,
Well, yeah. Currently, the Bills are only because of this loss. This puts the Bills at only half a game up.
yeah,
Because Patriots are 3-2, Bills are 4-1, but Patriots currently have the tiebreaker
hmm
if they were to have the same record.
yeah.
So this puts the Bills only at half a game up. So that's basically what we're looking at here. And what you were saying about Josh Allen, about him forcing the ball for deeper coverage and things of that nature. Yes, we have seen that before. Yeah, what up, Rob? What up, Troy? But yes, we have definitely seen that before. We saw it just in the AFC Championship game this past season. Short yardage to the running back was there. He
hmm
went to the deeper pass, and which was just a toss up, and everybody talked about like, look, he still had a chance to catch it. He should have never thrown that.
Yeah,
Like
it should have
he
never
should
been
he he should have
thrown.
never thrown that. Like
There
he
was a better option available. That's the
e-
point.
Exactly. But like all you guys is like, oh look, it almost got there. Like you was so excited that it almost got there instead of pointing out that wasn't the correct option. Should have just extended the drive. Um, but yeah.
Yeah,
So that type of thing that goes on with
it
Josh Allen.
there's one more thing I wanted to point out, and I want your thoughts on it, Mark, because to be honest with you, up until this point in the season, it seemed like the Bills finally found that perfect balance of getting James Cook the ball, right? Actually using the running back that they have on the roster, and then also the perfect balance between that and putting Josh Allen in position to make plays. And it seems like this game when it says James Cook had 15 carries for 49 yards, right?
Yeah.
And this is just something that can happen. The same way that Josh Allen could get bottled up, and you need to lean on the run game. The same thing can happen the opposite way. The run game could get bottled up, and then you need Josh Allen to beat Josh Allen, right?
Hmm.
My concern is the first game that James Cook doesn't have a great game.
You lose.
Josh Allen can't get the job done.
Yeah.
And that's my concern for the Bills. And I know some people probably looking like they're 4-1. They look good. They won all these games. It's a division rival. I'm sure. All of those things are true, but we're not. Are we still grading the Bills on that type of a scale, or are we grading them on a scale of they have an MVP quarterback, and the next step that we're expecting them to take, Mark, is to make it to a Super Bowl? Because if we're grading them on that scale, then this is a problem and this is unacceptable.
Um.
Yeah, just want to know your thoughts overall.
Well, overall, um, I do shout out to the Patriots for this victory and shout out to them for bottling up James Cook, who, for all intents and purposes, has been having his way through the first 4 games of the season. So shout out to them for holding James Cook to 3 yards a carry. Um, and and I mean the Bills were ready to like, okay, this isn't working, move on. I mean, I do kind of want to shout them out for recognizing, hey, the run isn't working as well. We got to do some other
Yeah,
things. But at the same time, maybe they were just all too willing to move on from the run. Like they were just like, oh, great, we can move on and do this other stuff instead.
I also want to point out James Cook got one target,
Yeah, and
which
that
I
was
think is unacceptable.
that's the big issue. That is the big issue. There is Josh Allen has a playmaker in the backfield, not just running, but a playmaker in the receiving game in James Cook. So, and this has happened quite a few times with Josh Allen, where he does not find or target James Cook in the passing game, where we've seen James. I mean, shout out to Chris Collinsworth. We watch him throw a simple pass to James Cook. James Cook turn it into 60 yards and make Josh Allen look fantastic to where Chris Collinsworth
It's
is
all
waxing
Josh Allen.
he's waxing poetically about Josh Allen, even though James Cook just put 4 people on skates to get 60 yards.
Just
But
he operates well in open space. He's one of the best in the league right now.
right. So like this, but these are the things we talking about. Avoiding the short yardage play, the guy that's open for the longer play, but also wasn't watching this game. I'm not going to pretend I watched it super close to know how many routes James Cook was running in this game. So I can't go too hard on that particular point. Um, because for all I know, they could have had James Cook not running that many routes. Um,
He ran more than one. I tell you that. I know he ran more than five. I
uh,
mean, we could go there, but it's just um, it- like you said, just the unwillingness. We've seen this in the past. The unwillingness to throw, you know, the short passes. And my concern is we've seen James Cook get a decent amount of catches
Mm-hmm.
in other games this season. The problem is it's his unwillingness to do so in situations where they're down or when they need to extend a drive to win is my problem, because at that point it's like, hey, if you're ever going to take what's given to you, Mark, that time should be whenever you absolutely need a first down. It should be when the game absolutely hinges on this drive. You need to take what is there and you just need to matriculate down the field, even if it's slower at a slower pace than you want to or a slower pace than you used to. That is, if there's any time, that is the time that we need you to do that. And that seems to be the biggest time that Josh Allen decides, you know what, we're not looking at anything short. We need to win this, and we need to win this now. We need to do it all, and we need to get it all back in one play, Mark. And that this is what we talk about when we talk about Josh Allen playing hero ball.
Right.
And
All
and,
right. But
and it's not necessary when you have type of playmakers like James Cook on your team.
all right. Before we get out of here, I just want to point out a few comments that was made. Um, Troy says the funny thing is when Allen gets boxed up and Cook have a great game, Josh gets more credit than Cook. Very
Absolutely.
true. And Robert says Keon Coleman is a bust.
I'm
I'm
not
not sure why you would state that Keon Coleman is a bust. I haven't watched him drop many passes this season. I just don't see him being utilized enough to be called a bust or not. You know what I mean? Like in this particular game, he had 7 targets. Four. He had 7 targets. He caught 4 of them for 23 yards. The longest was 13. That means they are not. He's not running any long routes or anything like that. At least not in this game. If you caught 4 passes to the tune of 23 yards, and the longest one was 13, I don't know what you want from him in that instance. He can't make the route longer. He can't do
Yeah,
anything
I
special.
want to be very clear about this, right? Because what I think Keon Coleman is he is a great number two receiver.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, he's playing for the Bills, and he has to play the role of the number one receiver. And just because he's not what you would want with a number one receiver does not mean he's a bust. Is what I'm going to say. Especially when you consider his draft position. It wasn't like he got drafted in the top 10 or top 15. Okay, so with that said, he is not a bust. But with that said, I see Robert also mentioned, you know, they were force feeding the tight ends. Look, they have two tight ends that would be starters on
Right.
any other
They're
team in the
supposed
NFL.
to for
Okay, you're supposed to use them when that's the play for the game. I'm not going to knock him for doing that. And now, granted, yes, your receivers aren't as good as the DBs for the Patriots, but this is everything we're saying right now is exactly why I expected more more passes, more catches for James Cook. But with that said, Mark, I know there was a particular clip that you saw that we looked at where he had a guy wide open. Matter of fact, he basically was dancing in the end zone at some point on the
hmm
play. He came open early. You could see he was going to come open. Um, it was an easy read, and then even as he rolled out to the right, he was just standing in the corner end zone, probably about 20 to 30 yards with the space between him and any other defender on the field, and wasn't seen. Wasn't seen. So, like, look, man, you could say all these things about Keon Coleman, all these other things. Look, man, at the end of the day, you have an MVP quarterback, okay, that's getting paid a lot of money, okay, that you guys, I think, I'm not going to say you guys, I think it's universally understood that when you talk about just physical gifts, he is a he is top two most gifted quarterbacks in the league, and the only person he's behind is Lamar Jackson when you talk about just being physically gifted. So no, I expect him to win that game. I don't care how tight the coverage is. You're telling me he can throw through any window. These are the things that you guys tell me. This is Those are the reasons why he gets paid, is so that he can make a sliver of space of viable passing option. Okay, so no, yeah, they have to come away with that victory. At this point now, they have to win the next meeting that they have with the Patriots. The next game that they play versus the Patriots will be at home in Buffalo, so we'll see how that goes.
All right. Um, I I want to get to the next topic. Um, well, not even the next topic because the next topic kind of rolls in. What up, Tobias? Want to go into what rolls straight from the Josh Allen topic, but I'm just came across something that's from Wes Wesley and from Dan Orlovsky, which says this is the full. Hold on. This is the full comment from Wes Wesley on Facebook. It says the NFL has started cracking down on sharing game footage. Even Dan Orlovsky was told by the NFL to stop posting game film breakdowns. Many content creators have been told to stop or are stopping before they get flagged. Unfortunately, I am one who was told to stop. That's why I haven't posted any Titans game videos lately. No fun league. Tighten up. So, I just want to talk about that very quickly because I find this very interesting. The NFL wants to grow their league and wants it to be seen further reaches, and also they want teams in other countries. They have teams going everywhere and all that shit. Um, I don't know if they understand how going viral or like how word of mouth works. Like, do you understand that people have to be talking about it in order for it to grow? People, it has to be seen in order for it to grow. You would think that as the NFL, you would want more people posting things that happened in the NFL as often as they can. You would think you would, I would, me personally, I would just make that openly available after the game so that, hey, spread the word. Let it be a thing. Let it go out there so people can see, so that somebody perusing the internet or perusing YouTube overseas is like, hey, oh snap, and then they watch it and find it interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause maybe this is how it works. You know, your algorithm, you're on ESPN because of soccer or whatever, and you type in football, somehow American football pops up, and now you're watching a Dan Orlovsky video of him breaking some shit down. You might find it cool. Or you watching a Cam Newton video or whoever, blah 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 blah. You might find it cool, and now you're somewhat interested in football, and more football shit comes up. Can't do that if there's no footage out there, right?
Yeah, yeah. In the NFL footage that they put out, it's just the regular schmegular freaking highlights from the game, man. And
Yeah.
and I want to be very clear. This is the thing. It's frustrated to me as a sports fan because we just had this conversation 2 weeks ago about the NBA saying it's a highlight league. You know what I'm saying? The NBA saying don't watch our games.
Watch the highlight.
Watch the highlights. That's good enough. It's a highlight league. You know what I'm saying? If you want to watch the games, you're gonna have to come out your pockets, right? And then the NFL has done everything, not everything, but they've done a lot to make sure their games are accessible. Okay, whether you like it or not with the Peacock deal, that means those games are going to be on NBC. I can use my antenna. I can watch those games. Okay. Some of these games are on Amazon Prime. Everybody that I know that exists in my life has an Amazon Prime account. Okay. The NFL is trying to make sure that you watch the games essentially for free to some degree, right? Maybe not all the games. The NFL package, the Sunday ticket package was actually being offered to me at $200 mark. We complained about the price of $500 before. It was offered to me for $200 this year.
For this year.
Yeah, NFL is doing what they can to try to make it more
No,
accurate.
but see, I'm glad you brought that up because that is a sign of a failed business model.
Oh no, that is, but this here's my point. You're doing all these things to make sure you can watch the games, and then you're saying we don't want you watching no clips. So one of them is just going far to one side, the other one's going far to the other side, and I'm like, dog, why can't we just have games that we can watch, and then why can't we watch clips of people breaking shit down like this? Like you said, you're trying to expand. You're in the middle of trying to expand to different countries, not just for viewership, not just to have games being hosted in other countries, but the ultimate goal is to possibly have teams in other countries. And right now, you're saying, look, man, we don't care that the game comes on where you're at. It comes on at like 6 o'clock in the morning, or it comes on at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you didn't see the game, that's it. Hey, you want to know how the game works? Screw you. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to learn nothing. Like, either you can watch the game while it's on, or you can kick rocks. Like, it's a wild business model right now that's happening, Mark. And I just think it's a huge mistake from a league that typically knows how to go about things of this nature. They are failing with this one, Mark. I don't like it. All 22 is becoming bigger than anything.
Right.
It's been around for a while, but it's becoming even bigger even this year. Everybody talks about all 22.
Everybody wants to understand what's happening. Like that is a sign of people wanting to be invested in your sport, in the team, to understand what's going on. And I'm going to start addressing, because these are really good comments by you guys. Tobias said, I seen that article. My thing is, anyone can see the footage. Do they not think folks in the building can break down the same footage? Exactly. So to Tobias' point, like, if their concern is, hey, you're breaking down some film that the other team might utilize, blah 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 blah. Hey man, multiple things here. These OCs and stuff, a lot of them, like OCs, DCs, all that, they have egos, like huge ones. So they probably seen your shit and blew it off. Like,
absolutely blew it off.
they probably seen that shit. And
Dan Orlovsky is breaking down film, and they're saying, "Why would I want to watch that?
Right.
I'm an offensive coordinator.
I'm a defensive coordinator. I'm going to watch the film for myself and come up with my own conclusions." Like, they have that ability to do so either way, and even in the good ones, they'll see what he saw anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like it really doesn't matter, bro. Like, so, like, that part. So boo-hoo to that part, NFL. Figure it out, especially you Titans, because it seems like the Titans may be the ones that are like, hey, they're breaking down our film. Like, so
yeah. So
let's go ahead and move on, Titans, from that.
Yeah.
And here we go. Rob, with the next one is, what's crazy is people in other countries sometimes use those breakdowns to actually learn the American game. Absolutely. and understand it. And yes, like, it's hard to understand a sport, especially when it's not officiated properly all the time or whatever. So watching a breakdown of, like, hey, this person was supposed to do this, they didn't do this, or this person did this correctly, and like that helps you understand the game, so you're not like, hold up, I could have sworn that was supposed to be a pass interference. Why did he just tackle that guy without the ball in his hand? And nothing was called. Like that, me as someone overseas, that would leave me in confusion if I didn't truly know the game. But now I understand, like, no, the referee was just bad and didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Or it could have been a situation to where it's like, no, because they ruled that an uncatchable ball, that contact is allowed. Like,
exactly.
Having a deeper understanding of the game allows you to be more immersed in the experience. So, nah, man, it's this whole thing is just like, this is the way it typically works, man. If you're not going to allow other people to do this, and this goes with any type of content creator on YouTube. There
And
is
you better be doing it.
you better be doing it then. We see they had the Pop the Balloon show that's been going crazy, right?
Mhm.
And then they at some point they started being like, hey, we don't want you guys clipping our stuff and doing commentary on it. That's like, dog, y'all don't even realize there's probably a bunch of people here that never seen it, that at some point hadn't seen the show, seen 4 or 5 clips, and then decided that, hey, you know what, maybe we should watch the show, right? It's like, fine, if you don't want to give us if you're not letting other people break this down, then you do it and you provide that. Because let me tell you something, people that are watching the breakdowns of the NFL, we just want to see the breakdowns. Okay, if you hire these people to work for the NFL Network and then you guys post it on your social media, we're still going to watch it. Okay, so you're just robbing the fans. Okay, now you're robbing your consumers, and that's the problem I have with it.
Yeah. So, all right, but back to our previous conversation, because it was Josh Allen that you was breaking down, and it's funny that we was talking about Josh Allen, how like what's not talked about and things of that nature, because what also is not talked about is other players that people put in top fives and they underperform, but get a pass. Um, Another guy who lost yet again. This is 2 in a row for him. One, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is crashing currently. Um, Lost his.
They've
Uh,
they've put up what, like 20 points to the last 2 games or some shit like that.
yes.
Something crazy.
In the last 2 games, they have lost to 2 NFC teams. I mean, 2 NFC East teams. That's crazy that they play NFC East teams back to back. But they lost to the New York Giants, who are 1-4. Their one victory is against the Chargers. And they lost to the Washington Commanders, who are currently reeling on offense.
They had a plethora of injuries for that game, and they blew them out the water.
Right.
It did not make sense to me. They didn't even have Terry McLaurin on the field.
Right. It makes no sense to me how Washington was just able to rug shot over there. Now, Hampton is now hurt and everything, but still.
Yeah, Crockett went dumb. Hey, look, I'm going to address this. Jay Carter, their O-line crazy hurt. I'm going to be very clear about this, okay? Their O-line is partially hurt, okay? Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, they had one of their 2 linemen that were hurt come back for the in time for the Washington game. If I'm not mistaken, Joe Alt came back for the Washington game. Okay, the things that I see on film are not offensive line related. Okay, they are not offensive line related. And then yes, I do understand that that Omari Hampton did get hurt in this during the course of this game.
Yeah,
But you said, oh, he's saying he didn't play. I thought they said one of those guys came back, but it doesn't matter. Two hurt offensive linemen. Now, if he's just under duress all game, all right. If he doesn't have time to throw, like for example, the Geno Smith situation with the Raiders, I can't blame Geno Smith for what's happening over there. Okay, nobody is blaming Geno Smith for the Raiders' woes. Okay, because of how bad that is. I'm telling you right now that their offensive line with the Chargers, with their injuries, is still better than the Niners' offensive line. It's still better. Like, we watched Mac Jones limping around on one leg the entire game, and he played better than Justin Herbert. Okay, look, that offensive line is still better than the Raiders line. It's still better than the Bengals line. Look, man, yes, it's not perfect, but it is not. His offensive line is not the reason why they can only get 10 points out of a game.
Yeah,
some of that onus has to be on Justin Herbert, man.
Justin Herbert took 4 sacks against the Commanders, 4 of them, He threw one pick. And so if you want to say that about the Commanders game, all right, sure. Oh, I'm maybe. But explain to me the Giants game in which Justin Herbert throws two picks. He throws two picks in that game, takes two sacks, and Amari Hampton in that game rushed for 128 yards on 12 carries. And the team didn't say, "Hey man, keep running this fucking ball." Why do you have Justin Herbert attempting 41 passes when your running back is averaging 10 yards a carry? Like, why you as a quarterback is willing to throw 41 times when your running back is running for 10 yards a carry? Like, at some point, like, this is my problem with the so-called great quarterbacks. Just me personally. A great quarterback would be like, hey, why am I passing right now? This dude is having a game. Like, he's going crazy. I want to win. Like, I want I want a quarterback, and I'm glad I have one that just gives a fuck about winning, bro. Like that's all. Like, that's what I care about. I'm glad I have a quarterback that will be like, hold up, we're not doing that. This person is doing numbers. We're going to go this way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I want to address this. I know Jay said the play calling was bad after the first 15, right? We understand what you mean by that. First 15 plays of the game are scripted. They work on that in practice leading up to the game, and then everything else out after that is an adjustment. Um, here's my issue with that, man. And to the point of Rob, you're a he has enough clout to where he could change the plays in the huddle. All right, he's Justin Herbert. Okay, and let's be very clear, Jim Harbaugh is not one of these new um, offensive minds that says, "Hey, man, I'm going to dictate every single thing that happens on the field offensively. I'm even going to tell you in your headset what audible to play, what audible to call once I personally look at the defense that they come out in." This
Mm-hmm.
is not one of those situations, man. He has the ability to change the play. Okay. And we talk about play calling. Look, man, I just watched the Jags, which I think their play calling it's been better with the new offensive coordinator. I'm not going to hold you, but the play calling still didn't look great in the game, and they still found and I can, in as much of a naysayer of Trevor Lawrence that I am, I can honestly tell you they won that game because of Trevor Lawrence. I can tell you that Trevor Lawrence made big plays in big moments in with his legs and with his arm to make sure that they won that game. If I saw Justin Herbert doing some of the stuff that Trevor Lawrence did, and then still losing the game, then I could give him that credit. If I saw him doing some of the stuff that Josh Allen does in the game, and then they lose the game, I can give him that credit. I'm telling you, when they lose these games like this, it's as if Justin Herbert is non-existent. It's as if he is a completely different quarterback than in the games where he looks really amazing.
Right.
It's such a night and day thing that happens with Justin Herbert. Okay, it's just not a normal thing, man.
Yeah. If only, if only, um, a Super Bowl winning quarterback could get the grace that Josh Allen does and that Justin Herbert does. You know, if only that was possible. If we could get a Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winning quarterback, if he could get a little grace, that'd be awesome. You feel me? That'd be dope.
Man, yeah.
I mean,
There, there, there was
I mean, my guy lost this weekend as well. The Eagles went they're 4-1, which takes us into our next topic because of course um I'm talking about Jalen Hurts. All these J names, man. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert.
yeah. Jay
Like,
Daniels,
yeah,
Hall.
like Do you have to? Does your name have to start with a J to be
Jordan Love.
yeah,
Apparently
to be a
so. Yeah, I
quarterback in the
don't
NFL? Like,
know.
what's
Jackson Dart. Hey, we can keep. There's a
we
lot
need
of them out there.
an investigation about that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, there's too many of them. But yeah, Hurts. They lost this weekend, and Hurts threw for what 280, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. But my main takeaway from the game, for the Eagles was all this turmoil that's going on is clear as far as the drama. It's clearly affecting the team. Hold on, I'm trying to read this at the same time before I finish my statement. He says, I seen a clip where a panel said if Jalen Hurts was the number one pick and had the same career he had now, he would be called a bust. The nastiness I've ever watched. Okay. So basically he's saying like, dog, if you would have said he was a number one pick and he won a Super Bowl and you called him a bust, that's crazy. Like Super Bowl with a Super Bowl MVP. That is wild. But hey, the hate that Hurts gets is insane. But my main takeaway from this game is that the drama that is going on within the team is clearly affecting the team. I mean, Kevin Petula is not proven to be a great coach,
They on his ass right now, Mark.
but But here's the issue when you become the squeaky wheel and all that shit. And this is where I am now growing to have a major problem with AJ Brown. Is that like your squeaky wheel, your conversation, all that shit, whatever was going on with you in that moment affected the team enough to where regardless of how effective the run has been through the first 4 games, in the 5th game, you only ran the ball 6 total times. 6.
That's insanity, Mark. A
Like,
dude just came off a 2,000-yard season. 6 times?
like 6
I
total
guess.
times. Like, dog, like, in the first half, you was cooking with the pass, but that's why you come out in the second half running. Like, cause like you know what I mean. You got them on the toes and everything. You now in the second half you come out switch it up on them because they're expecting a certain thing or whatever. But you didn't do that, and also some of that. And here's where some of that I don't put on Kevin Petula because Kevin Petula might be looking at some of those plays and being like, well, if we didn't get this BS penalty of illegal motion, illegal formation because 2 guys was in motion, then that's a 30-yard pass that extends the drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or if Josh Dotson kept that other foot in bounds, or if they counted the first foot that was already down when he caught the ball, and that's another 30-yard pass that extends the drive. So, or you could also look at it, hey, if the ref called the PI at the red zone where Dallas Goedert is clearly pulled. Actually, there was 2 plays that should have been PI against Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert was thrown to the ground or whatever. That should have been PI, but the one towards the end of the game where his shoulder pad was pulled and he was turned around, if they called the PI there, that puts him in the red zone to win the game. There were several plays that just was missed or just due to bad refereeing overall. The Eagles should have walked away from that game with the win, despite only running the ball 6 times. So it's hard to truly be like finger on Kevin Petula, at least for me, because that the game plan was effective enough to win the game, and you should
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. So yes. Okay. So this is where I'm going to step in as a third party, Mark, and I'm going to tell you about. I'm going to say a few things. Like I do think he does. Like I do think the criticism of him as an OC is fair.
Yes, it's fair.
Only because, like, yes, you could be good enough. You could be good enough to get the job done, but that doesn't mean that you're doing a good job, right?
Right.
And I think that's very true of the situation that he has going on. I think it's a testament to the level of professionals that you guys have up and down that roster. Um, and it's a testament to the experience that that offense has with how deep, what their deep runs into the playoffs and all that, et cetera, et cetera. I think they just have enough personalities, stable leadership personalities within that offense. You look at a guy like Saquon, obviously, the offensive linemen that you guys have. Those guys are all, you know, they're all solid. Everybody's got a cool head about them. Even though, I mean, I don't know if you can consider Jalen Hurts a vet now, I guess, but Jalen
Well,
Hurts is
no, Jalen Hurts is 100% a vet. He's in his second
a
contract.
contract. I know what you mean, but usually when you hear vet, you're thinking of the guys that are 30 and up.
10 years.
Yeah, but still, he's a young vet. But still, he got these guys in the locker room and on that offense that they know how to improvise. They know where to make the changes or do the little things to kind of help out the OC. And from what I can see, the decision making that happens on the field, I don't think it has anything to do with the OC, but they are able to figure it out to make the game plan work.
You're right, because the touchdown to Saquon Barkley, the pass play,
Yeah.
that was drawn up in the sand by Jalen Hurts.
See,
according to Saquon Barkley, that was something that they just drew up in the grass. And
yeah.
So
but that's
so I'm giving both sides of it and trying to be, I guess, as much in the middle as possible. With this, but Saquon, but like that's not a good thing when your quarterback in the middle of a regular season game has to be drawing up plays in the dirt. Like
last time we seen a bitter OC up in the skybox for the Steelers.
Right. Or
on a game winning touchdown play sucking his teeth.
Yeah, or that was who did that? Aaron Rodgers did that in Green Bay once too, was drawing up plays in the dirt. But but that was also in the playoff game where they was just trying to figure something out because they was getting shut down.
Yeah. So but real quick, the follow up to that, Mark, is when we're talking about the OC situation, this is the part where I think that I can agree somewhere in the middle here with you, Mark, that the fans need to relax, okay? I can speak from this. I can speak to this because I'm a Niners fan. And we went through that period every single year. I'm saying we went through it. We're still going through it. Every single year we have a new coordinator for offense. Every single year we have a new coordinator for defense, okay? At some point, that catches up to you. Being a successful team year in and year out catches up in a way of you can't keep your coordinators. You can't keep your position coaches. Everybody starts to move up and move out and move on to other opportunities, okay? You guys, I don't know what people expect from you when you have a brand new coordinator again, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's week 5. It was week 5. I mean, everybody's still learning, including the coordinator. Coordinator has to learn their personnel. All right, they got to learn, how to put players in the best position for each individual position on offense. He has to figure out the synergies between the players and all that stuff. There's a lot to figure out as an OC, and you guys are expecting them to figure it out or have it all figured out by week 5. It's not. This is a loss that, yes, it did happen. Yes, you should have won. All these things are true, but this is also part of the growing pains with having a brand new offensive coordinator that, let's be honest, This isn't a retread, Mark. This isn't somebody that's been running around the league as an offensive coordinator. They're new to this, okay?
Right.
So you have to give them some type of grace. Now,
And not only that, but we're talking about an offensive line that is truly hurt.
it is.
Landon Dickerson getting hurt every game. He started the season off coming directly off of surgery. Lane Johnson getting pulled every game because of some shoulder thing that he re-aggravates continuously. Tyler Steen got rolled up on. And then Cam Jurgens, I don't know what's going on with Cam Jurgens, to be honest, but Cam Jurgens just isn't playing well. So,
Yeah.
We're talking about an offensive line that just isn't looking like itself as well. So that also needs to be taken into account when it comes to Kevin Petula.
Yeah.
But when also taking that into account, you still have to look at it like, hey, man, this is a Super Bowl winning team that is largely intact, particularly on offense.
Yeah.
And you came into the season where quarter of the way through and you are 30th. you're 30th in passing offense and 31st in offense total. Like, dog.
Something has to change.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable. You can't keep winning this way.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, I can suck all the grace I want. This ain't it. Dog. Like, I could give you a little bit more grace if we were sitting at 16th, but 30th, my guy, got his shit or get off the pot.
Yeah. I wanted to speak about the play that Troy brought up, the AJ Brown. He said or maybe that was Jay that brought it. He said the sluggo route.
That was Troy.
Troy brought that up. Okay, yeah, but yeah, he's talking about the sluggo route. And I'll be honest with you, Mark. I was curious to see what he was going to say about that because I was like, I mean, we all saw it, man. Sometimes the film don't lie, man. You slowed up on your route. I hated his answer of, I look back,
didn't see
the ball. Hey, man, look, this is elementary shit, Mark. As at the youngest levels of football, of youth football, they tell you if you're a wide receiver, you run the route. You run the route because you never know when that ball might be coming to you. It's the same thing they tell people on the basketball court. Hey, man, be prepared for catching a pass. If you're cutting in or around to the basket, cutting the baseline, running across the baseline, your head better be up and you better be ready to catch a pass. Okay. But yes, me and you, Mark, have killed receivers like Randy Moss for not fully running routes when they feel like or when they know that they're not getting the ball. Okay? AJ Brown, you cannot complain about not getting the ball, and then you're half-ass running routes, and then when somebody puts a mic in your face, because we all know there's miscommunications. Maybe you weren't supposed to get the ball, look. All I know is I saw it when you came out of that turn. You slowed up, even though there was open field in front of you. So I understand people slowing down in the open part of the field so that they have a better chance of being seen by the quarterback, but that's not what you did. When you slowed down, all of a sudden the defender was able to defend you, and the ball was thrown to where only you could get it if you would have just kept running. It was all on you. You can't put any of this on Jalen Hurts, but for you to get up there and be disingenuous, and say, hey, man, I look back, I didn't see the ball. These types of things happen. No. You need to take accountability in that moment. And Mark, I can understand if I was an Eagles fan, I can understand if you're an Eagles fan looking at that press conference, considering everything that's led up to this point and saying like what you said. You're now starting to get to the point where just like, yo, man, I'm fed up with this guy, man. Because at least take accountability in that moment. At least take accountability.
Right. And it's not even, for me, it's not like, oh, I'm fed, like, it's not I'm fed up with AJ Brown. I'm fed up with this attitude. Like, whatever you're going through,
yeah,
chew on it and move the fuck on, man. Like this shit is like this isn't it, my
Dragon.
guy. Like dog, like this is not the type of energy that you want to take anywhere. Like this is not. You don't. I know that I don't believe. I've never believed AJ Brown to be this type of receiver. I never believed him to be the this type of diva
Yeah.
receiver, and but now you are like the reputation that you're currently building for yourself is the
He might as well be Stephon Diggs right
yeah,
now.
like you might like the pouty the pouty receiver that nobody wants on their team because unless it's all about him, he's going to make the entire team miserable.
Yeah, man, turn it into Eeyore right before our eyes, man. And I'm gonna be and I'll say this, and I'll admit before I even say it, I'm probably reaching, Mark. But maybe just maybe, if he wasn't in the mood that he has been in, maybe he sees Devonta Smith going for that ball, and he's so focused and locked in, Mark, that he realizes that he has it, and he backs off of it.
Or or maybe he
You know?
says, "You know what? Prior to this, hey, whichever one of us puts our hand on the ball, I'm going to help you bring it down.
Yeah,
Like I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah.
push it into you. Like
He's
you know what
trying
I
to
mean?
take it from him, Mark. Like you know what I'm saying? And some people are trying to say it was some hater ass shit. Like I don't think that's what it was. But honestly, it's a bone. You can't say I'm going to take it from you though. Not when he already has it.
Right.
Yeah, that play. Like I said, I just don't believe. I honestly don't believe that play goes that way if AJ Brown is in the right frame of mind.
I honestly I don't under back to that play. But before that, I'm going to say what Troy says. He says his energy is bringing the morale down so much. I seriously think after the game, he looked at Devonta Smith's stats and shook his head and said, "Those should be mine." And
Probably
I,
did.
I can't deny that.
Devontae Smith had nice numbers.
Yeah, he did. I can't deny that. Like, Doug, whatever is going on with you, like you have spoken about dealing with depression and dealing with suicidal thoughts for lack of I mean, not for lack of a better term, but just to be blunt, you've spoken about dealing with suicidal thoughts, all that, and the things that is going on. Those things, like for somebody that's mental health aware, be aware of your of how you're presenting. Like if you're presenting, like part of also part of that work is also being aware of what you're doing to other people with your attitude and things of that nature and being and dealing with that yourself. Like you're like, okay, I'm talking and I'm dealing with this work. No, man. Like you also got you. I think AJ Brown needs to have a conversation with the team at some point and be like, look, I apologize. Like, I think he, like if like because he says his home is Philly and everything, and clearly he believed that when he signed the contract and everything. Like he needs to be like, look, man, my stuff is my stuff. I apologize, and let's move on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Philly, your home. Treat us like family. Treat us like family and talk to us. You know.
Right.
Um.
But
Yeah.
um, there was something. Dang.
First, I just to let you know, I was just trying to ignore Rob's comment about Stephon Diggs.
Oh,
He
I'm not.
had an okay game the week before, and then he had a great game versus his former team. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not counting anybody playing their former team as a breakout. He is now arrived game. I'm not doing that. You're gonna have to wait another week, Rob. Sorry.
Not right. And here's the thing: it said the Brandon Graham clip keeps replaying when I see AJ Brown. Hurts probably really was trying to fix things with him, and AJ is not with it. I don't even know. I don't know, nor do I necessarily care, but I do know that what they claim, they like, it's not just what they claim. I know what they were in the past, and I know what they present off the field, and I know people try to play into the fact that Jalen Hurts is so isolating during the game. They try to use that as like as a rift between AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts doesn't talk to anyone during the game. He don't
Yeah,
talk to
that's
Saquon.
not it.
He don't talk to Lane Johnson. He don't talk to nobody. His process is, I am by myself during this game. If I'm not talking to the coach or the OC, I'm over here. The receivers are over there. Everybody is somewhere else. He is by himself.
Let that man be locked in.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with that. We see how it affects
Right.
his play on the field, and if his process works for him, you gotta let him go through his process.
Right.
The same thing with AJ Brown. Here's the problem: your process ain't working, man.
Right.
Your process right now ain't working, and that's when the process becomes a problem. Now all those little things become a problem. When you were reading that book on the sideline last year, shit went well. You won your game. Everybody moves on. You reading that book on the sideline, and then all of a sudden you pull what you pulled this past game, then it would be a problem. Okay, like everybody's allowing everybody to kind of be themselves there, but at some point, once it starts to become a problem with your own personal performance, or we feel like it's starting to affect the other players on the team, then it has to be addressed. I don't look, man. This is the part where I look at Sirianni and say, if I was an Eagles fan, I'd be like, I just wish he was a little bit more proactive or hands-on in this scenario to just say, look, man, this shit ends today. We sitting you down in a room, and if we waited for you to come to us, and then now we're coming to you, But yeah, this is a situation to where somebody has to play that role, Mark, because at this point, I don't think AJ Brown is going to take those steps to sit down with the team and have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. All right. Other things that we wanted to talk about today. I had the other. Oh, just the refereeing overall
Yeah.
in the NFL. Like, talk about it with the Eagles game, but we watched it in other games as well. Oh, it was the refereeing and the AJ Brown slowing up. I wanted to correlate that to Chris Jones giving up
Jesus.
on the game losing play. Now, here's the thing. Chris Jones was hurt. I mean, not hurt. Excuse me. It's the end of the game. Chris Jones may have been tired. He may have been dog tired. It is the very end of the game, and you are on the red zone. Like, but hey, Chris, you can't just stand there, my guy. You cannot just stand there on this play. Like, he was waiting for somebody to make the play, as long as it wasn't him. Like, as long as it wasn't him, he was waiting for somebody to make the play. My man stood there with his hands on his hips. Like,
He didn't even give you the fake jog like he was. Oh man, he didn't even fake it, Mark. This shit was so crazy, Mark. Like, and I try to look around.
I haven't seen anything like that since James Harden.
That is true. Now, you know what's funny about that, Mark? I watched the replay. Like, I like Chris Jones a lot. I watched the replay a bunch of times to try to figure out. I'm like, well, I mean, he did fall on the ground, and maybe he thought somebody touched him. Then I watched the replay like 3-4 times. It's like there was nobody near him. He's
Right.
staring directly at him. He's staring directly at Trevor Lawrence while this is happening. He saw him fall on his own. He watched him get up, and then when he started rolling out to the outside, I was like, okay, maybe he turned his body, but he's not moving. He's not even moving in that direction, Mark. I watched it a bunch of times to try to see if I could shoot him some bail, Mark. No bail available for this man. You know what I'm saying? He's not allowed to bond out of this one, okay? Now, and I'll say this. This is the first thing that came to my mind, Mark. is him holding out, him taking what was it like $35 million. I just you just immediately start to think about the money and the things that you are the number one DT in the league. You want to be paid like the number one DT in the league. This team cannot function without you. You're a big reason for these Super Bowl wins. Defensively, you're the run stuffer. Like all these things played out in my mind, and I'm like, dog, it could have been anybody else on that defense, Mark, but it can't be you, Chris Jones. Like that was my thought. It could be anybody else, but it can't be you. And you have to know that. And then when Trevor Lawrence walks in for the touchdown to seal the game, he had no emotional reaction to them losing the game, Mark. It was the craziest thing. Like, forget about how bad it looked with him not trying for the play, right? He gets in the end zone and you still have no reaction. I don't know what to tell you, Mark. That's not what I want to see from Chris Jones. If I'm the owner, if I'm the GM, if I'm the head coach, let me tell you something. There would be a nice long conversation after that game because, look, we could give you the benefit of the doubt and say you thought the play was over, even though they didn't blow the whistle. We could say all these different things, and maybe you thought somebody else was going to get there. But once he runs in for the touchdown, you should be distraught. Like, I can't believe you lost on that play. That's the way everybody else saw it. And then you're just standing there with your hands on your hips as if you got another down to play. Like, I don't know how you explain his reaction, Mark. Maybe you got an explanation for his reaction to the touchdown.
I don't.
I got my money. That's like I got my money. Hey, what did Tua say? Hey, they had a quote from Tua this game said, "Whether I throw 5 interceptions or throw 5 touchdowns, I go home to my family and my kids love me the same." That's cool. They can love you while you're unemployed too. Look, I'm just saying. Look, you know what I'm saying? It's just a weird thing. It's like I know it sounds like the right thing to say to it, but that's not it. And it just felt like you're being very casual about stealing money, and I don't like that. And that's what I saw with Chris Jones with his reaction, man.
Right. But speaking of the Chiefs, that brings me back to the refs.
Yeah.
Because in that Chiefs game, watched the. I'm curious, do the refs understand what PI is anymore? Because I watched the Chiefs do a pick play, like a very obvious pick play, no call. And then I watched on the opposite end of the ball, the Chiefs, like I said earlier, tackle a receiver like all out tackle a receiver on a slant route, and the ball was like he would have been there had he not got tackled. Like and no flag. Like I am truly lost as to what these teams call PI. I mean, not teams. These referees call PI anymore. Like, because I know what PI is, but
maybe they don't.
But maybe I should be questioning myself and just being like, no, that's not PI. Nothing's PI anymore. Apparently.
Nothing in anything, Mark. That's the way it seems, right? Nothing in anything. Okay.
Right. So, hey, man, I guess at the end of the day, if a Rams player could go ahead and hit stick the receiver
with his helmet.
With his helmet in the NFC Championship game, while the ref is staring directly at him, then nothing. If that is not called, then nothing should be called.
That's very simple, Mark. Yeah, it's just. But the pick play was so crazy. I'm like, I watched the man stop running, lower his shoulder, and lean into a guy. I want to know what part of the rule book that is. Y'all keep talking about this 1 yard. But I want to know what part of the rule book that is, okay? And it's not like he's blocking after somebody caught the ball. He's just like, this isn't him picking up a block. And just, I want to be very clear to the people out there. This shit was more than a yard. Just call it what it is. It was more than a yard. I don't even want to argue about the yard. Look, man, that man is out there cheating, man. That's what happened. Y'all got caught. Y'all got caught, and then, because Mr. Patty Mahomes, look, man, call it whatever you want to call it. All I know is I seen a whole team bitching and whining about the correct call, and then the refs changed the call. That's what I saw. So, nah, man, they had it right, and I was surprised that they even called it, Mark, when they initially called it. And then to see them change their mind after the whining just broke my heart, man. I was like, man, y'all had a chance to do
But,
something good here.
but this is why they say ball don't lie,
Oh,
because
don't lie.
guess what, Chiefs? Guess what? Trevor Lawrence, thanks to Patrick Mahomes throwing a pick six, and Trevor Lawrence somehow magically getting up and still to win the game. Ball don't lie.
There was Let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff that I've seen in this game that just really upset me, Mark. And there's two things that really upset me in this game specifically. And you just mentioned both of them. Okay? The pick six. Patrick Mahomes, bro. I don't know if you were watching. After they show what's his name, first off, that is the most piss poor attempt at a tackle or a punch out of a ball. Whatever Tyquan Thornton was doing, like he chased him down and then slowed up at the end when he could have tackled him, probably at the 10-yard line. And then he just went like this.
Well, he's
Got to pull the ball out.
hey man, I don't know what you, Sean. He's a
Look,
receiver. He's not a cornerback and he's not a safety. He's a
the
receiver.
man let up. Effort don't cost nothing, man. Effort, you don't got to be perfect. I'm not expecting
Maybe he
technique.
needed to slow down so he can get an eye on the ball.
You
Like
know,
he's not
fine.
that guy. He's a receiver.
Shoot him whatever bail you want. That's not even my main point. That man, Patrick Mahomes, they cut to Patrick Mahomes after that. And Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, over there by the sideline like this, Mark. No, you're not about to clap for this dude that got a pick six that essentially probably sealed the game. No, Patrick Mahomes, I need you to be slamming your helmet on the side because you're upset with yourself. No, Patrick Mahomes, you weren't there to make the tackle or to even be in the vicinity to make the play on him running that back. I do not want to see you standing in the middle of the field clapping it up for the dude that just pick six you. I don't want to see that, Mark. Okay, that's number one. That really upset me when I saw that when they panned to him and he's just like, bravo, bravo. And then Trevor Lawrence, man. I don't want anybody to give Trevor Lawrence credit for that touchdown, Mark. I don't. That was the clumsiest shit that I had ever seen. He got up and was still stumbling all over the place, Mark. It was crazy. Like shout out to the offensive line. Shout out to Chris Jones for allowing it to happen. But but yeah, like that was the clumsiest accidental shit that I've ever seen. And then it's like, man, like he made a lot of plays that day, but that wasn't one of them, Mark. You tripped all over yourself. You fell on the ground. You barely got up. You stumbled while you was getting up, and then you looked around. You didn't even know what to do with the ball, and then you realized, man, there's so much open space here. I don't know what to do with myself. And then you walked in. Okay, no, he does not get credit for that. I don't care what the box score says. Maybe I'm too upset because it is Trevor Lawrence, and I'm just like, this man really just lucked into a W. But yes, that's the way I felt. But I don't want that to take away from the game that he had, Mark. I actually gave him his credit. I said that man made a lot of big plays during that game. But that last one was crazy, dog. You can't. This can't be the game, the play for the game, and then you're stumbling all over yourself because this could have been a completely different story, Mark.
Right. Well, listen. Now it's time to get into the violence over the weekend. But
Okay.
I'm going to start with Jonathan Gannon. What the fuck, dog? Like, why didn't DeMarcado steal on him, dog? I would have stole on Jonathan Gannon.
Mark, when you're concerned about how you're going to feed your family for the next couple of months, that changes your perspective a little bit. When you're the third string running back, okay, and then you do that, your first thought is, I might not be here next week, okay? And when you're thinking about how you're going to feed your family, you're concerned about your job security in that moment, and you're kind of a little bit down on yourself. He's 26 years old, Mark. I'm sure he was feeling a large range of emotions more so the negative type, okay? And then he already is beating himself up about it, and then the coach comes to pile on. He's the coach is yelling at him, and I'm telling you right now, Mark, he's only thinking about I just want to. I don't know if I'm gonna be on this team. So yes, I don't think Demarcado was in his right frame of mind for him to even react or receive it in that way. But yes, Gannon was wild. Gannon, that was some high school, middle school coach shit that you can't even do now. That'll get you fired anywhere else. They did fine him $100,000 though, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so at least they fined him. But honestly though, that was a coach crash out right there. But I get it. That did I honestly believe that did cost him the game. But you have to understand, you're it's another grown man. At the end of the day, we're all men, and that's another grown man that you're doing that to. Because now, Mark, let's be honest, if DeMarcado would have put hands on him, you know what I'm saying, then people would have had a problem with it. I wouldn't have had a problem with it, Mark, but I'm sure there's certain people that would have had a problem with it.
Right. Um. Secondly, um, whatchamacallit.
I like the
Oh,
way you said
with DeMarcado, do you think that he should take action against his coach?
it. I
Like,
honestly
I mean,
think
like legal action.
I think as long I think he need to have a private conversation with him and just confirm that he's on the team for the remainder of his contract.
Like 100, dude.
That's
Does
what I
a
think he
hundred?
should do.
I mean, like, I don't feel as though $100,000 fine is enough. Like for me, the person that's assaulted, like, cool, he was fined $100,000 by the NFL. What about my restitution? Like,
Yeah,
like
look,
I don't think it's okay for this skinny white boy to feel like it's cool to fucking swing on me. Like, what is like what type of time you want?
see, well, let me put it. See, I think I can agree with everything you're saying here, Mark. What I'm trying to tell you is, look, man, you could do it one of two ways. You could go the legal route, or you could go into the front office and have a conversation. You could talk to the GM. You could talk to the owner. You can tell them how you don't feel comfortable. Okay? Look, man, Mark, I'm not trying to go to court. I'm trying to get paid under the table, Mark. Okay? I'm trying to get paid for my silence, is what I'm trying to get here. Okay? I agree with this, with the sentiment and the idea, but I'm saying you're going about it the wrong way. I don't want to have to go through litigation. I don't want to have to go through all that. What I want to do is just go to the owner and the GM's office and be like, hey, man, you know that shit was wild, right?
Hmm.
It'd be like, look, man, it'd be a real shame. It'd be a real shame if a lawsuit came from this. But I'm such a nice guy, I won't do that to you guys. Call it blackmail, call it whatever you want. I'm just saying, I'm trying to get paid under the table. I'm trying to get a little bit extra job security in a moment where I shouldn't have any job security. You know what I'm saying? I want the Kawhi Leonard deal, Mark. I want the $28 million under the table Kawhi Leonard deal. That's what I want. Okay. See, Troy said, remember when Draymond punched Poole? The team gave Poole his money the next week.
Yeah.
Man, I want one of them deals. I want
Right.
one of them deals. I don't want whatever the court's gonna get me. I could probably get more if I do this shit on my own, dog. We
Okay.
we doing
Yeah.
a shakedown, Mark.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's wild. But um. Yeah, dog. That's wild. I'd be like, dog. I need a 4-year contract. I need something.
Hey,
I need something.
restitution, as you said, Mark.
Yeah.
I need my restitution.
Hey, I'm gonna take a page out of Lauren Hill's book. I need some reciprocity, baby.
Yeah, hey, look, you know,
Mm. Hey, but and moving on from Jonathan Gannon, I mean, but I guess at the end of the day, I much rather have that happen to me than get beat up and stabbed. And
yeah, somebody could be trying to get it in blood.
right, you know what I'm saying?
Look,
I rather a random swing happen to me than me just trying to do my job. cleaning out grease traps, and next thing I know, I'm getting beat up, and then fearing for my life and getting stabbed. I think, I think I choose that option.
Yeah, it's funny story, Mark. Something like that happened recently. So, so yes, and for those that don't know what we're talking about, there was an incident in Indianapolis involving Mark Sanchez, to where it's funny because the initial reports were saying, "Hey, man, there was an incident. Mark Sanchez got into it with somebody in a back alley outside of a bar. He got stabbed up. He's in critical, not critical condition, but he was in bad shape. He was recovering in a hospital. It was prayers up, speedy recovery for Mark Sanchez. We're praying for him and his family." That's what the initial reports were. And then the rest of the story comes out. And for those that didn't keep up with the update, they found out that Mark Sanchez was intoxicated. He walked into this back alley because he saw a truck parked in the back. I've seen pictures of the alley, Mark. It looks like any other behind the business alley. They have a loading dock. Okay, there was a vehicle, which is really strange. There was a truck parked in the loading dock, doing something, and Mark Sanchez said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna go investigate that." Ran up on the dude, told him he wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, and then the guy was talking to him, and he's like, "No, I am supposed to be here." And he's like, "No, I talked to the owner. They told me nobody's supposed to be parked here." Okay, then as he was getting his phone out to call his supervisor, said he was going to call his supervisor. Mark Sanchez then enters the vehicle. Mark, he enters the vehicle and snatches the phone away from the dude. Tells it does not allow him to call for help. It doesn't allow him to call for anything. Okay, and at this moment, I believe he pushes the driver out of the vehicle. Okay, and at this moment is when that person then defends themselves by pepper spraying Mark Sanchez. And he said at that moment in time, he thought that Mark Sanchez was trying to kill him. Okay.
I would. I would feel that way.
He thought he was trying to kill him, man. So at that point, he pulled out a knife and he starts to slice him up a little bit. He got him, what they say, 2 to 3 times. And then somehow Mark Sanchez gets the knife from him. And then Mark Sanchez is able to then stab and slice the man's face. So, but either way, the initial report was just that he was he got injured in the scuffle, whatever. Then the second report came out because the police chief came out and said, no, he was arrested. He was stabbed, but he was also arrested. And they said what the charges were. And then that's when you found out the entirety of the story. So, Mark, now that I've explained everything, I know you're already hip, but I want to know your thoughts. Like, I have my thoughts, but I want to know what your thoughts are on the whole thing and how it's being treated.
Well, my thing about the whole thing is, honestly, I haven't heard much after like, it was wild going, like, the way the story changed from, like, oh, prayers up for Mark Sanchez. He was attacked. He was jumped. Blah 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 blah. He's in the hospital. He's stabbed. And then the next thing you hear before any details of like something changes was Mark Sanchez is handcuffed to his bed. Like, what?
You're like, why?
Like, why? Like, why is he handcuffed to his bed? What's happening? Yeah. What's going on? And then, and then it's like, no, story that's still developing. And then you're like, no, I need this to develop. What changed so drastically that he's handcuffed to his bed?
Y'all said he got poked up pretty bad, man.
And he's beat up and poked up. And then the next thing you see is a picture of the other guy. And you're like, oh shit! Like, what? Like,
well, let's be clear, because initially you didn't know the dude was 69. That's right. Crazy. It's a 69-year-old man you ran it. Mark Sanchez is 38 years old, Mark. He's 38 years old. He did this to a 69-year-old man. Go ahead. Sorry,
But
man.
yeah, no, you see that and you're like, oh, dang.
Like, this
Like,
dude
oh, that
old.
dude got I'm like, hold up, that dude got beat up too. So like, are they saying like they handcuffing Sanchez because he beat up his attacker? Like, cause they still didn't
Yeah.
say like, no, Sanchez actually attacked this guy. Like, no, like still didn't say. And then you finally get the full story that Sanchez actually attacked this guy. And when you finally get the full story, much like Dana White when he smacked his wife, they reported that and never spoke about it again. No
Yeah.
opinion, nothing. Like it's
Yeah.
just like, and it is like, hold up, why isn't this getting covered more? Why aren't we talking about this? Why all of a sudden are we waiting for the legal I hate, yo, if you're not if you're not coffee complected, then all of a sudden
Wait for it.
you're gonna hold your opinion until the legal process plays out.
Mhm.
Always interesting to me.
I want to be very clear about something, and this is less to do about sports, but it's still tied to this incident, and I have to get this off my chest, Mark. So, another thing that happened the night of the incident was, um, or not the night of, I think it was the next morning. The governor and the deputy governor both made tweets saying that the city, you know, of Indianapolis. So you mind you, the governors over the state, they're saying the city of Indianapolis needs to get their stuff together because they have every weekend, and I'm trying to give as much of a direct quote as I can, young African American uh, males, okay, descend upon the city and wreak havoc in a drunken state every weekend. And you guys need to get this under control, and maybe they need the state to step in. That was the first response from the governor, okay, of the state before the details came out, Mark. And then since the details have come out, they haven't said nothing. They deleted the tweets, him and his assistant, they deleted the tweets. Um, and on a little lighthearted note, I'm upset about it, but I just want to know, man. Look, man, y'all told us, y'all said black people, man, maybe things wouldn't happen to you if you just stopped committing crimes. Look, man, all I seen was white on white violence with the Charlie Kirk thing. And somehow people are going to HBCUs, and then now the Mark Sanchez thing happened, and somehow black people are getting blamed. Look, man, you told us to stay out of it. We're staying out of it. Okay, y'all go talk to the other people. Okay, go talk to the people that you need to talk to. Um, the crazy thing is, these people, obviously, the governor is a little bit more on the I would say he's a little bit more on the Republican MAGA side, and then you look at Mark Sanchez, who is a big time MAGA guy, and it's like, well, now you really don't have anything to say. You can't blame it on the people that you want to blame it on, so now you're just silent. But it goes to that point, Mark, like, yo, man, like now it's wait for the details. There's nobody's. I still haven't seen any news outlets turn back around and say we're praying for the person that was the actual victim, and I haven't seen any of them say we're praying for his family or anything. All they did was report the updated version of it and say, "Wow, this is crazy. We're all just trying to take it in." Like, no, it's not. You have plenty of time to take it in, man. But yes, I just want people to leave us out of it, Mark. That's it.
Yeah. So listen, real quick, before we head out of here, I'm gonna bring this up because even when we're not in it, we get brought into it, and this is a very serious note to end the show on, but it needs to be stated. Rest in peace to Kyron Lacey, man. Um,
Yeah.
Kyron Lacey, pressure built upon him, feeling like there was no way out, and feeling as though he was up against insurmountable odds, while the livelihood that he worked so hard for and looked forward to was taken from him because during that time no one wanted to wait for the details to come out. No one wanted to wait for the details in Kyron Lacey's case. He was accused, and that was all they needed. There was no, oh, let's just shut up until details for him. They accused him. All they needed. Now he wasn't invited to the draft, and no one drafted him. All this stuff, and now he had this smut on his name that he had nothing to do with. He was in fact 92 yards away from the accident that killed the individual, and
Yeah.
he and yet he was blamed for it. He was set up, like straight up set up. That like there's audio, video, evidence of him being set up by the police in that area.
I want to be very clear. The police chief themselves were in on the slander and the outwardly public blaming him for the accident.
Even though they know he was not there. They knew that.
Yeah.
And they set him up to fail simply because he was a young black man. So this is what we're talking about when we say, "Oh, what happened to like now all of a sudden you want to wait for the details to come out and you don't want to talk about it, but you ruined a young man's life and to the point of that he killed himself. The young man killed himself feeling as though there was no way out and that there was no future for him. And what's sad is that it feels like if he only waited a few more days, another week, if his mental could hold on for another week, the light was on the other side of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I want to use that moment to just say to anybody that's out there, hey, you going through something, you dealing with things, and it feels like the odds are against you and there's no way out. Give it time. Light may be ahead of you, and you will not know if that light is ahead of you if you take yourself out of here. You're not giving yourself that chance for that light if you take yourself out of here. So, I really hate to end the episode on this, but this really needs to be said, man. It's serious. I pray for the Lacey family. I pray for anybody that was close to him. And I pray for all of us, honestly, that we just find a better way forward. And I pray that these hateful people that exist, and I'm just going to say it plainly, these hateful white people that exist that seek to destroy us just simply for existing. I pray that at some point we get past it. That's it, man. You got anything?
I don't know if I could have said it any better than that, Mark. So I'm not going to even try. So, but yes, my same sentiments go out to the friends and family of Kyron Lacey.
Yeah. All right, man. So that's all we got for this episode. Hopefully, the Eagles game will be coming up in just about 45 minutes. And I would preview this game, but it should be a wash. The Giants should just get shellacked. Hey, and Brian Dable, you a little clown. You're a clown show for that little shit you pulled trying to pour gasoline on the drama of A.J. Brown. Like, oh, in your press conference, you're like, from what I see, like in watching film, he's always open. Okay, we're not stupid. We know what you're doing. And you're a little...
I like it. I wish my coach would do some stuff like that. hey, you mad because it's against you, but you're like, oh, I see you. I want to let you know, I see you.
I see him, and I think it's funny, but like it's but at the same time, you really do still suck at your job, my guy. You're really awful at your job. I don't think you have time to be playing mind games. How about you just get in the film room and figure something out? Figure out maybe read John Madden's book or something. Like figure out how to be a head coach out here in the NFL. I don't know.
With that said, Mark, y'all better not lose this game. You better not lose this game. That
Dog,
is all.
dog, if we lose this game, I'm just gonna say the season's over.
Hey, dog, I hope you're ready for some Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo celebrations. That's all I'm saying.
Like
Hey,
no,
hey,
like Jack. No, who Jackson? I mean, not Jackson Dart. Cam Scatterbo is like a mixture of Bobby Boucher and whatever character Stephen Austin played in the
longest
longest
yard.
yard. Like that. That's how a white boy runs. Like that dude is a head full of angry steam, like praying for more CTE. Like when everybody else is trying to avoid it, he's running head
He's
first
looking
into it.
for it.
He's
Hey,
looking for CTE.
when you out here pancaking defensive ends, hey, Bart, he ran him back 10 yards. He was like, I ain't stopping till he on the ground. That's the, but I'll say this. The best comparison I've seen was comic book Wolverine. And I think he's a combination between that and Chris Benoit. I'm just saying. Like, it's, all I'm saying is if you ever want to know what controlled rage looks like, that's what's happening over there with Cam Scatterbo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, either way, like I said, they got the YCs as they've been called, as I see it online. The YCs are coming into town.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just didn't want to end it on that note, but we appreciate you guys for watching, listening, and vibing with us. As always, remember, it's only entertainment. So when you're making your bets and stuff out there, keep that in mind at all times, because you don't want to be on the wrong end of a pass interference call not called, or Chris Jones just giving up on the play.
Yeah, true facts.
All right then. Peace.